I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am? I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm the man? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know who I am.
So confused in this life full of mystery. Guess I'm glad it ain't a life full of misery. I wanna dance, I wanna fly, I wanna let it free. But that's a different side of people, they don't want.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Riding solo for this one without my guy Patrick Buchanan. I hit that like and subscribe button. Continue to help the station grow. The music that you just heard was by Latreille. Latreille is a fantastic, rapidly growing artist out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Currently important. Currently my son. The guy is doing great things. You can find his music on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, just doing some great things. Hopefully we can get him on Unconventional Playbook one day for an interview, talk about his music. The guy's doing really, really good things, and I'm really, really proud of him. So thank you for having your music be the theme song of the UP, Unconventional Playbook. I want to talk a little bit about the Jordan Addison thing. I know Pat and I talked about it on a recent podcast about Jordan Addison, but I think we are at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads right now, and it's a very important crossroad. Jordan Addison has been with us now for 2 off seasons, 1 regular season, 2 off seasons with a little bit of trouble. And he has since erased off of his social media anything to do with the Minnesota Vikings, himself in the Viking uniform. His profile pic used to be himself in the Vikings uniform. And that could be for a number of reasons. I don't want to speculate. You know, he could be getting heat from a lot of Minnesota fans, and he may not want to hear it. So, you know, he kind of shut down his social media. It could be that. Or it could be he's upset with the organization because maybe we've had some meetings behind the scenes that we're not privy to, and he may not like what he is hearing in terms of the Minnesota Vikings. Who knows? It's just dangerous to speculate, so we're not going to do that on the UP. We're going to deal with the real, but we're going to give it to you straight. I think Jordan Addison is at a crossroad. Jordan Addison, fantastic player for us last year. Great compliment to Jets, Justin Jefferson. But more so than that, let's deal with Jordan Addison, the person. I'm not even thinking about him as a football player, but as a coach and a mentor. How do we help Jordan Addison? Because he's putting himself in dangerous situation. And I know there's going to be people out there that support him. You know, sometimes fans get emotionally attached to players. So no matter what they do wrong, they're always going to feel the need to support him. I'm going to support him too. But I also have the ability to let him know when he's doing something wrong. Still be a fan, still be supportive. Last year, he was clocked going 140 miles an hour in his car. You're flirting with death. You lose the control of that thing. You're flirting with death. And so, again, although not officially confirmed, what is officially confirmed is that he was on a ramp near LAX, asleep in a car. So maybe he could have been tired. Or then there's that DUI component. And if it's a DUI component, that's a dangerous thing. You're flirting with death. Even if you're tired, you get behind the wheel, you're flirting with death. So let's take the football player out of it. I'm going to put the human being side of it in and say, bruh, I just want you to come home at night and be able to wake up the next morning. And you're putting yourself in situations where you're flirting with death. And so now, for the fans out there, I want you to know that you're dealing with a young mind. Young minds don't always look at things the right way and don't always look at things with the right perspective. That's why it's important to have a great support system around you. People that aren't afraid to tell you, hey, you may want to think about doing this a different way. See, the thing about being rich and famous is you can create this inner circle full of yes men that enjoy the lifestyle and that enjoy the money. And so they're going to say and do whatever you want them to say and do just so they can stick around and be in that inner circle. They're going to be afraid or hesitant to pull you aside and say, hey, Jordan, you know, last year we had this year we had that. We may think about having to do things a certain way. Because in some circles, the celebrity or the person with the money and the fame, they'll get rid of you in terms of you being in their inner circle if you say or do the wrong things or something that they just don't like. And that's why you have so many yes men and yes women when it comes to celebrities and people with money. Jordan Addison had a great year last year, but he's starting down the road where he could possibly lose it all. I won't even talk about the optics of it all. Just had a teammate who died a few days ago under the umbrella of alcohol being involved in the accident. So optics, that's not the greatest look. But man, this is your second strike. And for whatever reason, you erased all the stuff off of your social media when it comes with the Vikings and football and all that stuff. That's not what it is important. What's important is that you do a little bit of self-reflection and realize I got to make some changes. Because there's no way we can sit down at a table and have a conversation and you justify your actions that you've had in the offseason. And I'm the biggest Vikings fans around. I want you to be able to play on Sunday, but it's not the most important thing right now. I want to get you straight. I want to help you with your decision making. And that's what his inner circle should be all about. That's what the Minnesota Vikings should be all about. How can I help this young man? See, the one thing I do with my players that have some difficulties making decisions, and I've been coaching basketball for 30 years, and I've been the same way for all 30 years. I sit down with them and I ask them, hey, let's have you be part of the solution. What if I were you and you were me? What advice would you give me as a coach? How would you handle this situation? Would you handle this situation with the suspension? Would you handle this situation from being cut from the team? Would you handle this situation with some sort of fine? See, when you do that, you give the person that's sitting in front of you a chance to self-reflect because they never put themselves in a position of authority. They've never really had an opportunity to be in a position of authority. So if they were dealing with a player like themselves, how would they handle it? See, the one thing about the young generation today, they never slow down to really self-reflect or think. So this will be an opportunity for them to say, well, man, you know what, coach is right. How would I handle it? How would I handle you right now as a player? This is your second ding. And the one thing that the Minnesota Vikings should not want to do is create a culture of compliance when it comes to this type of stuff. Because people are watching, especially the young players on their team. They're still impressionable. They want to see what the lay of the land is. They want to see how far they can push the envelope. Not everybody is going to come in ready to go and mature mentally. I mean, the Vikings and their coaching staff had Wes Phillips last year who got arrested for a DUI. He's an offensive coordinator on the team, and he's in the same room in these meetings with Jordan Addison. So he definitely wouldn't be the one that should have a conversation with Jordan Addison. But I guarantee you, when that happened to Wes Phillips last year, guess who was watching? Guess who was listening? This is one of our leaders that controls our meetings during the week. He installs our offense and our game plans during the week. Got dinged for DUI. Every impressionable young player on that team was looking and watching to see how the Minnesota Vikings were going to handle that situation. That's what young, inexperienced, new players do. We just had a mini camp a couple of summers ago. We had our freshmen come in to our campus. Every single one of those freshmen were watching every single thing that every coach did all week. Our culture, how we ate, how we practiced, the tone of practice throughout that week. I guarantee you every single one of our freshmen sat and watched and tried to figure out the lay of the land. It is natural. It is a human instinct when you're in a new environment and you're new and you're young. So now we have Jordan Addison, who's been in OTAs, who's been in minicamp with the Vikings. We've got rookies coming in. We got new players coming in. The new players, the rookies that are coming in are watching. They're watching to see how the organization is going to handle Jordan Addison, how the organization is going to support Jordan Addison. Nobody wants their pint of flesh. I'm not saying he should be cut, never play football again, or should be dismissed from the Minnesota Vikings. What I am saying is, how can the Vikings help? How can they intervene and help and provide a visual of support to all the new players and all the young players that are coming in that are new to the family? It's a crossroad. It's a crossroad, man. You got to get that right. People are watching. So I'm coming at this from a different standpoint. I'm not even talking about the football side of it. I'm talking about the person, the human being side of it. How do we take care of Jordan Addison? And how do we prevent this from happening again? Because if I'm the Vikings, and I'm KOC, and I'm Kwesi, and I'm the Wilfs, we've had too many dings. From Wes Phillips to Jordan Addison twice, to Kyrie Jackson. Man, we've got to figure out how to create that culture of better decision making, and what type of culture we want to build and provide a visual of resources and support for our players. It's paramount going forward for the Minnesota Vikings. Man, I think Jordan Addison is going to grow from this. I hope he's going to grow from this. And I think he's got a long, successful career ahead of him in a Minnesota Vikings uniform. I think the kid is going to figure it out, but we've got to make sure that he's going to figure it out. And again, not talking about the football player, just talking about the person. Let's get the person straight. And the football playing and the production on Sundays, I think, man, it's going to take care of itself. That's my thought on Jordan Addison. Anybody see Target Center pictures last night? Pull up a Target Center picture. Let me pull it up. Look at the Target Center. Target Center, the biggest crowd ever ever for a Minnesota Lynx regular season game. And it's not like the Minnesota Lynx organization has been scrubs. They had a dynasty. Cheryl Reeves and her crew had a dynasty coming through Minnesota a few years ago. You remember the championships. You remember that. And this was the biggest crowd ever in the regular season. And so I know a lot of people jumped on me about the whole Caitlin Clark, saying I support Caitlin Clark way too much. And, you know, I get criticized for that. People jump. I get a lot of pushback from that, but that's all right. Just study that picture. Caitlin Clark was in town 3 p.m. yesterday to play a game. Take a look at that picture. It's Caitlin Clark effect. Biggest crowd ever. And the Lynx has had dynasties. So again, this is not going to be a support to Caitlin Clark podcast. Again, I don't have to support Caitlin Clark because I know what the outcome and the result are going to be when Caitlin Clark leaves this basketball game. And she retires. And she just wants to be a mom and raise her kids and be a good wife. I'm just going to let that picture marinate in your mind. And for those of you who want to squelch Caitlin Clark, squelch her popularity in a league that struggles financially, whenever you start thinking about that crap, just take a look at that picture of the Target Center in a place where there's been a WNBA dynasty and they've never had a crowd like that. So again, as I always say, I'm on the side not of Caitlin Clark or anybody else. I'm on the side of the longevity of the league. And the league has been struggling for 20 years, struggling to pay their bills. And arenas like the Target Center have never seen crowds like that. Just let that picture marinate a little bit when you have and want to throw some shade at Caitlin Clark. Man, this has been Unconventional Playbook. I'm having a great time doing this stuff. Thank you for all of the support, the likes and the subscriptions. Keep hitting those likes and subscriptions. Keep that podcast growing. We really, really appreciate it. Going to continue to have my guy, Patrick Buchanan, on there. We got Latrey supporting the show as well, providing just some great tunes for us, some music for us. We're going to keep pumping that. And we're just going to keep rolling out the content every day. So I really, really appreciate the love and support. This has been Unconventional Playbook. We will see ya when we see ya. Latrey, take us home.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm a man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?